Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is facing intense backlash after being sharply criticized by Bill Maher and Charlie Kirk, leaving her in what appears to be full damage control mode. In the wake of this highly public takedown, the Congresswoman has made a series of controversial moves, ranging from a renewed push for Trump's impeachment to a fiery on-air outburst, all of which seem aimed at salvaging her image and protecting her political ambitions, including speculation about a potential 2028 presidential run. We've gathered the most talked about clips, reactions, and blistering commentaries from across the political spectrum. Buckle up, this is a story you won't want to miss. Let's begin with the moment that sparked it all, the clip that sent AOC into a tailspin.
You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also, if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent. It's always so awkward because the candidates just spent an hour describing how America would be an out-of-control dumpster fire if the other guy won the election. But they still try to answer it.
I respect his children.
I commend him for what he's doing around cats.
He was an Eagle Scout. I think that's terrific.
Okay, I say the next time we have debates, the moderator needs to frame that question a little differently, as say something about America that you like. Because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it anymore.
That's how Bill Maher launched a scathing critique of AOC, a takedown that's hard to ignore. The Congresswoman often proclaims her love for America, yet her actions tell a different story. She champions a radical progressive agenda, relentlessly attacks Donald Trump, and disparages the very Americans who form the nation's backbone. His supporters. AOC routinely opposes policies that prioritize American jobs, energy independence, and national security. Why? Because this isn't just politics for her, it's strategy. Every move, every fiery speech, every viral moment seems calculated for one purpose: securing the spotlight and paving the way for a potential presidential run in 2028. Her outrage, her performative rants, and her carefully crafted persona all point to ambition, not altruism. Behind the slogans and theatrics lies a self-serving political operator. And now, the facade is beginning to crack. Maher struck the match, and the fire is spreading.
For all the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking, and unable to change.
If you've listened to AOC's speeches over the past 5 years, Bill Maher's criticism starts to make sense. She's not just passionate, she's aggressively divisive. She's argued that America's resistance to electing more women is proof the country hates women, brushing past the progress already made and the reality that voters tend to care about competence over demographics. She's also suggested that rejecting a woke female candidate amounted to bigotry, ignoring the real policy concerns that critics say would have pushed the country toward economic and social instability. That's not principled feminism, it's narcissism dressed up as victimhood, and she didn't stop there. When Americans supported the overturning of Roe v. Wade, AOC went scorched earth, hurling labels and moral superiority like confetti. Then came the blame shifting. She turned her fire on the president for the chaos in Los Angeles, chaos many argue lies at Governor Gavin Newsom's doorstep. This isn't problem solving, it's outrage theater. Headlines over hard work. Brand building over governing. Maher didn't merely criticize her, he spotlighted the pattern. And now the attention AOC has spent years cultivating is starting to illuminate more than she likely intended.
But I am a perspective guy, and that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective. 72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America, way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land.
That's exactly the message AOC and her ideological allies have been pushing for years, portraying America as inherently racist, oppressive, and founded on theft, a nation beyond redemption. In speech after speech, soundbite after soundbite, they frame the U.S. as the villain, but here's what they conveniently leave out: people of every race, background, and identity have more opportunities here than in nearly any other country on earth. Millions risk everything, crossing deserts, oceans, and borders, just to step foot on American soil. Why? Because despite its flaws, America still offers freedom, prosperity, and upward mobility at a level most nations can't match. That truth doesn't fit AOC's narrative. Division keeps her relevant. Outrage sustains her brand. So when Bill Maher calmly and methodically dismantled her hypocrisy, she didn't respond with facts, she lashed out. Because deep down, she knows he struck a nerve. The mask slipped, revealing not a fearless truth-teller, but a politician clinging to identity politics and moral theatrics. Maher didn't just shake her up, he shattered the illusion. And AOC couldn't handle it. Her response? Deflect, distract, and go back to her favorite play, attacking Trump.
Donald Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud, liable for sexual abuse. Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too. When he talks about rapists and criminals, he should look in the mirror.
That's the go-to playbook of the woke establishment. When cornered, attack Trump. When their arguments collapse, their policies flop, or the facts refuse to cooperate, they invoke his name like a magic spell. It worked in 2020, but by 2024, that strategy imploded spectacularly. Have they backed off? Not a chance. If anything, they've doubled down, louder, angrier, and more desperate than ever. Now, they've added outright lies to the mix. Take AOC's latest move, insinuating that Trump was guilty of assault, despite the fact that he was never found guilty of such a crime. It's pure smear politics, weaponizing innuendo to score cheap points, distract from her failures, and keep the outrage machine alive. /sadface P for AOC and her allies. Truth is irrelevant. What matters is emotion, chaos, and headlines. But the American public is catching on. The more they distort, the more they expose their panic over Trump's resurgence, and just how brittle their entire narrative has become.
There are those like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who say that President Trump illegally in the Middle East declared war. Watch.
He also said that it was a war. And I think that the President of the United States admitting that he unilaterally brought the United States into a war without congressional approval is a very grave public admission. It is illegal.
Your political point is spot on, Will. How could they be against what's going on? We have peace in the Middle East. The killing has stopped. The shooting has stopped. There's no nuclear weapon. The American people overwhelmingly support this. And this is the day they decide to impeach Donald Trump. What are they trying to impeach? Peace? They're trying to impeach that there's no nuclear weapon? I mean, it's such a political loser for them.
And that brings us to AOC's latest meltdown, a reaction that signals one thing loud and clear: Trump is back in the crosshairs. The former president just brokered a historic peace deal in the Middle East, an achievement that even his fiercest critics should acknowledge. But instead of applauding progress, AOC immediately pivoted to demanding impeachment. Coincidence? Not a chance. Some will argue she's simply fulfilling her duty as a congresswoman. But let's be honest, that excuse doesn't hold water anymore. This isn't about responsibility, it's about damage control. AOC's hypocrisy, performative outrage, and obsession with attention have been exposed repeatedly. From staging a fake arrest for Instagram clout to contradicting her own policies week after week, her credibility is in free fall. So what's her escape plan? The oldest trick in the woke playbook: drag Trump back into the headlines. When you're losing the argument, just shout his name and hope the mob follows. But Americans are catching on. These tantrums aren't leadership, they're desperation disguised as activism.
We're on different planets, obviously, on the spiritual religious stuff. But when you spoke against the woke, that for me was a proving moment. And I have to say something, and this is 100% true. You had more moral courage than pastors that I know that went along with the woke crazy train. And you deserve credit for that because it was of high cost.
Until we get rid of that, they're never going to win another election.
I agree. They're not going to take political advice from me.
No, but they might from me.
They could. And they should.
Not the 10%, but that's 10%.
But they're very loud.
They're very loud, but that's it. And I, as FDR once said, I welcome their hatred.
Good on you for being a liberal that acknowledges male-female distinctions. What a concept, right?
Oh, of course.
I mean,
of all the low-lying fruit that the Democrats just
hand the Republicans to win elections. That's the one.
First off, I just want to say personally, having known both of these guys pretty well, it's great to see them talking. Like, this is what we need more of in America. They disagree deeply on clearly the philosophical and, let's say, religious points. Like, Charlie's an evangelical Christian, Bill is a well-known atheist. The fact that these guys are sitting there and Charlie's giving him credit, you pushed against the woke. Now, what I would say to Bill, as you know, is, Bill, okay, so then why wouldn't you sort of align yourself more with someone like Charlie? Like, what are the major hangups there? So I would still encourage Bill to just be more of the moderate liberal wing of the Conservative Party, but be that as it may.
Okay, so AOC isn't mentioned by name in this clip, but let's be honest, we all know who's in the crosshairs. Who else can summon an online activist wave with a single Instagram live? Who else strikes the pose of an oppressed revolutionary while live streaming from a latte break in a tailored blazer? The queen of performative outrage herself, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Bill Maher and Charlie Kirk didn't have to say it outright. Maher, in particular, has spent months poking holes in what he sees as AOC's most overwrought claims. So when he talks about hollow activism, politics driven by emotion, and lawmakers who play the victim while chasing influence, yeah, the alarm bells go off. The description fits a little too well. AOC can insist she's not the target, but the parallels are hard to ignore. And judging by her online reaction, it's safe to say the message landed.
Governor Walz, I just have to say, I know you're getting a lot of grief from the majority here, but, you know, we are talking about individuals who have cheered on an individual who issued a Nazi salute from behind the presidential seal of the United States of America, who have cheered on the pardoning of individuals who attacked the United States Capitol and flew a Nazi flag and the flag of the Confederacy, traitors to the United States, sworn enemies of the United States of America, through the capital of this nation. And now they want to act offended because someone has the courage to say, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, maybe it's a duck. So I want to thank you for not wavering to their bullying, which is unconscionable and sad to see. So I just wanted to let you know that, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Let's be serious. The outrage over Elon Musk's gesture is absurd. Anyone who watched the moment in context could see it wasn't a Nazi salute, yet the perpetually offended outrage machine, with AOC and allied commentators at the front, rushed to spin it into something sinister. That's the pattern. Take something innocuous, inject hysteria, and weaponize it for clicks and political leverage. Flip the script and imagine Musk had been praising socialism, waving progressive flags, and bankrolling gender studies initiatives. The same crowd would likely be hailing the gesture as bold, nuanced, or misunderstood art. But because he challenges their sacred talking points, free speech, government overreach, media bias, they're out to scorch the earth. This isn't about principle, it's about politics. Not about truth, about tribal loyalty. The double standards are glaring, the hypocrisy hard to miss, and they know it. Smearing Musk keeps the narrative alive, keeps the base inflamed, and keeps the spotlight fixed where they want it. Facts are optional as long as the outrage machine keeps spinning.
AOC supposedly has an economics degree, which I imagine she got through the mail by clipping box tops off her Panda Puff cereal, because she certainly didn't have to sit through any classes, or some rational nuggets would have seeped into her brain through accidental osmosis.
At the end of the day, this is the left's playbook in action: smear, distract, and deflect. Whether it's AOC dragging Trump back into the headlines, twisting Elon Musk's every move, or manufacturing outrage at every opportunity, the goal isn't truth, it's control. They weaponize narratives, bury facts, and brand anyone who pushes back as dangerous. But Americans are waking up. The hypocrisy is deafening, the theatrics transparent, and the desperation impossible to ignore. The louder they scream, the more exposed they become. No matter how hard they try, reality can't be silenced. The truth always breaks through the noise, and that wraps up today's video. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button and subscribe for more hard-hitting commentary. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.